here we go. Adidas and my love of this waffle beanie that I got last year. My first serious year of running, really ever, taking it like for realsies. So yeah, let's go over my 2022 marathons, all three of them. Try to do this as quick as possible. I know I said that last time and it ended up being over an hour long video, but after my Everesting, I wanted to set another goal that was a little daunting and exciting to me, which was I just want to run a marathon under 9-minute average pace because I've clearly done the half marathons before I ran a marathon at pretty respectable paces for someone that would just run here or there as a cyclist, mountain biker, and I was like, it's kind of funny how it snowballed into I just want to run a big event marathon like San Francisco, and then now I want to go run Boston and get my marathon under 3 hours, as that is becoming increasingly hard. Hence my metatarsal injury. So they're having their ups and downs, kind of like hills, kind of like running or riding hills, and but I've stayed true to my word, keeping off the feet running, that impact letting my feet recover, and getting more into cycling. So if you follow me on Strava, Joey Moselle in Santa Rosa, last week I did kind of an introductory back into it, like a little over 150 miles, over 8,000 feet of elevation gain. No running since the marathon on May 7th. Really trying to be smart this time, because when I train for CIM, I want to train. I want to run freely and train the way I want to train. I want to be able to run. I need to run for it. So that's my goal. I've officially opted out. I gave my $130 spot to Joe Petrich for the Santa Rosa Marathon. Thanks, Joe, for taking that up, and he's gonna try to get his marathon PR under 3:30. So I believe in him, and I know Joe will take our hopes and dreams across the finish line, and so we're rooting for you, Joe Petrich, Peter Rich, I think is how you would spell it. You can also follow him on Strava. He's from Santa Rosa and work with the guy, and staying off the feet, recovering, getting a lot of really fun fast riding in, and I'm setting some other little goals, like I want to go do Skaggs Road soon, maybe even from here do all of Skaggs to Point Arena and back, which would be like 140 miles over, probably I'm going to assume 13,000 feet gained, because doing Skaggs both ways on its own is apparently 11,500 feet gained of elevation. So it's going to be an adventure in the saddle. It's not for the faint of heart. So, but a true ninja can endure anything. And so something that worked so well for me in my 2022 marathon for my PR so far for a marathon was CIM. Having a longer training base. So that's what I need to do. I need to get healthy or injury free, so I can have a longer, I think that's one of the things that's kind of held me back a little bit this year for 2023, is something that I've kind of forgot to mention, is having these little training based block preps for marathons is not conducive to setting PRs. You want really consistent long training camps for your marathon. So going into Napa, which was I was trying to go test out, as I went over this already, I don't want to get too much into that, which was trying to get really fresh and not training as much when it came to running. That kind of backfired. And then so that was March. Then I took some recovery from the marathon. Then I had May. So then yeah, just recently, it was like 2 months later, like took some recovery, kind of try to get ease back into it, and then do some good weeks, and then like Humboldt happened, and it was just like, you need a long training block prep for your race day. So what I did in for confidence for San Francisco was, once I signed up for San Francisco, I was like, signing up's half the battle. Just tell yourself, like, if when you visualize it and tell yourself you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. And if you're always doubting yourself and putting those negative thoughts in your mind, you will become that. So, so if you look at things more as, if I am fit, I'm just getting fitter, that is going to create a more positive mindset than just being like, oh man, like I can't do this, or oopsie poopsie whoopsie, what am I getting myself into? That's just like, I can't do it. All those kinds of ways you're gonna self-sabotage is gonna set you up for failure. So as long as you're putting that work in, you're putting the effort, things are gonna go well, barring injury or something like that. So another kind of risky move I took, a risk taker, is in my training for San Francisco, I did just run a marathon by myself. It was pretty brutal. I went out on the Silverado Trail. Is it Silverado Trail it's like the same road they use in the Napa Marathon? Silverado Trail. It's like that highway out there toward, like, in Napa. I ran a little over a half marathon one way and a half marathon back the other way, and I had gel, and this was full of sugar water, like my electrolytes. This was not enough water and calories for a marathon by myself. That was brutal. I felt like I was going to throw up afterwards. But I mean, if I was without this, I would not. I really don't think I would have been able to complete it. And so I don't really. That's one of the biggest things why I was so excited about an event was having the water stations. Everything is just seamless and like mapped out. Like having water stations, and with some of the gels you usually get gels at kind of later stages. Like, you want to bring gels yourself. I was aiming to get a gel in every 4 miles last marathon, and I pretty much hit that mark. So every 4 miles, I'm trying to get a gel in, and I don't even need gels and stuff for like half marathons. It's just the marathon you really want to be set. I didn't have anything, no water even on my half marathon PR. It was that 1:28:25, and I put a lot of training in, ran a lot of hills to get prepared for San Francisco, because it's a very hilly course. It's really beautiful, but it's not something you're really going to PR. You're not going to see like the pros out there trying to win that, showing up from like East Africa, Kenya, and places like that. You're going to see those guys on faster courses, or just like the Big Five, including Boston, which isn't as fast of a course, because it's a net drop of a lot, but it's also asking for a lot of that elevation back, because like you're also gaining elevation running of over 900 feet or something like that. So it's not a So yeah, it's not a walk in the park. It's not a cakewalk at all. I mean, yeah, I know I haven't ran it, but it's kind of still known for like a tough course for a faster course. So, but I do not recommend running a marathon in your training. Most coaches do not recommend even going over 22 miles before your race. Your longest long run before your marathon should be like probably at least 19 miles, 19 to 22. There was that woman from the running channel. No, not the running channel. There was that woman from Global Triathlon Network. She said her first marathon, she did better than she thought, only having her long run, as her longest long run was like 17 miles somehow, and she did, pretty all right for her first marathon apparently. I don't think she shared her time or anything like that, and I don't remember which video to look up, so I won't be linking that in the description. But yeah, but the one thing I will say that did do for me was give me a ton of confidence, because I hit my goal before I even ran San Francisco. So that way, San Francisco was just set up as I just want a PR. It's because I ran under 3 hours and 55 minutes for my marathon I ran by myself, which was a pretty hilly one too. There was like over 900 feet of elevation on that first marathon for me. I'd have to look it up on Strava. I think I'll probably screenshot the marathon I did on my own, San Francisco and CIM, and I'll put those screenshots at the end of this video so you can take a look at them. But that gave me a ton of confidence going into San Francisco, and settled my nerves a little bit, even though I could not sleep the night before. And so that was kind of that. Gives you confidence, but you're risking too much injury-wise, and look at me now. A lot of those risks I've taken in my training and, etc., finally caught up to me, and look at Conor McGregor. Yeah, I was training through pain and injury and broke his ankle, broke his foot. So sometimes that stuff catches up to you, and luckily I ran that marathon. Nothing too serious happened. I probably set myself back a little bit, but I was already there in it to at least get my second best time I've had. And so one of the tips I also will mention before San Francisco, I stayed at my uncle's house in San Francisco for that race. I got horrible sleep. That old pillow that was not very supportive, and super nice of him to let me stay over there, especially because he let me stay over there, and I ate a ton of bananas for dinner. I just ate bananas throughout the day, and some pasta and stuff. But eating that much water-rich fruit before you go to bed, horrible idea. I got barely any sleep before San Francisco because of that alone, because I had to get up and pee countless times, numberless times, numberless because of obviously I wasn't counting. That's how, because I was so my brain was just kind of a little on fire. I hate when when I'm just on fire before. It's a good way to say how my brain kind of feels before, when I'm in bed and it's just burning like the sun, and you're stressing about things, and if you're gonna perform, and but that's pretty common to not get great sleep before a marathon, and a lot of people get really good times on just barely any sleep. So it's almost a level playing field at that point. It's pretty much an even playing field. But when everything does go right, things line up, tailwind, great sleep, not do anything crazy, don't try new things eating wise before a marathon, hence what happened with me and my bananas, having to pee a million times before going to bed, before falling asleep and getting 4 hours of sleep, if that, before a marathon. And yeah, you don't want to try new things, eating new food, getting too crazy with your food. So it's yeah, I've eaten a lot of bananas like that before in a row, but yeah, that was a lot of water I took down, especially since I was hydrating as well. And so I was prepared for the 1500 plus feet of elevation in San Francisco gained, and really exciting, beautiful marathon race, really well organized, It's an early one. The race starts at 5 a.m. I think. Is it 4:30? I can't remember what time San Francisco starts. Their race, but it's really early. 5:30 at the latest. I think it's like 5 a.m. because it's it's a big city that they have to block off those streets for a long time on that Sunday. So it's really early, and I kind of treated that marathon like I didn't have any huge goals. I just wanted to PR, just anything better than 3 minutes and 54 seconds, which was, by myself I got under 8-minute pace. I mean under 9-minute pace, and it was like the one I did by myself was like 8:57 pace, 900 feet of elevation, but I ran like a 3:40, little over 3:40, 3:41 in San Francisco. So pretty big PR with extra elevation. I was excited about that, and getting that, getting a medal was like first time since I was like a little kid, as an adult. So I couldn't recommend that one more if you're just like wanting to go to a big event, a really just beautiful race. And San Francisco, the Bay Area, has just so many just stunning views and really enthusiastic. They had a pretty enthusiastic crowd. It's just I would recommend doing that one. It's not really typically going to be a big PR day unless you're just like a freak that wants to run under 3 hours of a marathon like that if you've been running for a long time. So that was a big confidence boost, and so then I was like, you know what, at least this year I've hit my goals. I ran a couple marathons under 9-minute pace. I think my pace for San Francisco was just under 8:30 pace. Is it 3:40? Might have been like 8:27 pace. I don't remember with that kind of elevation, but I was like, you know what, I'm training for it. Might as well do CIM, give it a crack, and give it a crack on a rip of a day, lads. And so I signed up for CIM. It's supposed to be the fastest course in the West, but when I ran it, there was 575 or 675 feet of elevation gained. I'm not sure, but I'll post that in the end of the video. And but it's got a net drop downhill, so it's supposed to be the fastest marathon in California, I think. There's some marathons with way bigger drops than CIM in California. There's like one that has like thousands of feet of drop, and it's like such crazy downhill, but I don't even like running downhill that much. Like that was actually a problem in San Francisco, was it hurts like running downhill that much. Like I said fuck out loud a couple times, like around people, because I was going downhill, my feet were hurting, and I was like, fuck man, this is like brutal going down this. I feel like I honestly excel more at running uphill than downhill, but I'll probably make a couple videos on how to run uphill and technique for running downhill, because I've been researching that for myself, and for injury prevention. And you're running everywhere, like in your training, so you might as well be good at it all. You want to just put that effort in. It's got to be a kind of a lifestyle, not just when you're out there running, but like you want to be researching, rehabbing. Like I know I'm guilty of this. Jailbird Joey, guilty as charged. I probably don't stretch enough and use recovery as much like I should. Some of the tactics I was going over in my last video, like the massage gun and all that stuff. But I signed up for CIM, and one of the biggest keys to success is I really upped the volume of my training, and it was a lot longer of a training base because July 24th was my San Francisco marathon. I had like 550 miles maybe of running till then, and then I had so that's, and so like I didn't run probably a couple days after that, whatever. So we're talking from August to December, because I didn't really run very much at all after CIM, because CIM was December 3rd. So end of July. So there's like August, just June, July, August. So it was August, September, October, November. In 4 months, I probably ran, which for me seemed like a lot. I went from like, I don't know, like over 500 miles to like 1,200 miles or something like that. So I, more than doubled my training volume from the first 7 months of the year to the last 4 months for the training prep for my training before Sacramento, CIM, California International Marathon. And it was just really consistent. A lot of like 40 to like, my biggest week was 75.4, I believe. So it was over 10 miles a day. And that was pretty hard, but like I felt pretty decent through it. It wasn't nowhere near as brutal as the 100 miles. It was really hard, but it gave me a lot of confidence to know what it felt like to run 40s to 70 mile weeks, 50s, and that was probably my biggest key to success that I want to try to replicate this year, to beat my 3:05:23. So I'm pretty well recovered for that, but then I also got terrible sleep before Sacramento the night before, in that in Lake Nantoma in whatever by Folsom Dam is kind of where it is. It's kind of like closer to the start line, and the nice thing is they bus you to the starting point for Sacramento CIM from the hotels that you go there. Like CIM is kind of a big deal. Like they brag about having the most porta potties in all of California marathons. Like they have a ton of porta potties, but they're like all still being really used. Tip: do not start waiting at the porta potties at the beginning, towards the entrance of the start line at Sacramento. Just keep going. The porta potties all the way at the end, and there are so many. So just keep going. That's where you'll start to see the porta potties open up without the lines as much, because the lines are pretty drastic towards the beginning, towards the starting line. And it's nice. They have pacers. I mean, San Francisco has pacers too, but Humboldt didn't have pacers. And I was my own motivation, no pacer, except for my Garmin watch for my own marathon. But Sacramento is it's a really good course if you're in California, or if you want to travel here to do this one. And I'd recommend San Francisco and CIM. CIM is pretty great. And I just remember for Sacramento CIM marathon how much I was just enjoying running for my first series year, that like my shakeout run, like I just really wanted to run all the time. I felt pretty good. So the night before, it was raining. I went running in the rain, did like, I don't know, 4 miles even, something like that. Cutting down the bridge and up. I probably did maybe a little too much, because it was like dark before the marathon, doing my shakeout run, and but I just love running so much, and I just really was trying to keep my legs rolling over. Just really trying to keep like fluid, and I just like was like, oh well, I'm up here, I'm on vacation, might as well run a new spot, and yada yada, and ran an easy run enough, but I probably should have maybe tapered a little extra, but it was a really good marathon, even with just absolutely horrendous sleep. I shot out and had a lot of confidence because I did do some really great, like some really just solid work in my prep, running just like some really easy low 7 paces, like not, it did not feel bad, like I just was kind of cruising, and for like 10-mile runs and stuff, and so I was just like, I just kind of was feeling it, and did really well. But towards the end of the marathon, like after the I was Boston qualified up until like mile 22, and then I fell off, or 21. Then I fell off like 3 miles, and I tried gaining it back. So I think my average pace was 7:06. I needed to be 7:03, and I kind of fell off, and it was kind of crazy because with all those people pushing so fast at the front of those marathons in Sacramento, there was so many fit people just getting injured, and it was starting to stress me out because I was like, damn, like if all these people are getting injured, like what's gonna happen to me? Maybe these people have been. And I felt really horrible for them too. Like I was stressed. I was like, oh man, am I next? And that mental stress was weighing on me. Like I have not been in that kind of position before, running that fast for that long, and everything was starting to hurt, and I was just like, oh no, like that starts weighing on your mind heavily, and I made it out alive without an injury, and but I really felt for those people who put blood, sweat, and tears into that, that effort, way of the ninja, and I really wish those people could have made it all the way through, at like at least a good time, for them. But so that was stressful seeing that, and it was stressful. I'm thinking, like, am I doing too much? I've never been like this before for this long, so my next, and I wasn't. So kind of a surprising amount of injuries that I saw happen. People having to not finish. So I tried making up ground towards the end. I was making some interesting noises trying to push on those last over 2 miles. Like I was just like, do I want Boston or not? Like you have some of that just why am I doing this? Doubt, brutal, like pain, like and then you have to remind yourself, like, I'm here, do I want it or not? And like I can endure this, and like I'm strong, and but it just was, I just physically didn't have enough, and it was I was really disappointed at the end. Like I almost felt like I was gonna cry, like even though I had like what is that, like a 35-minute PR, I gave myself the confidence before the race that I was going to at least qualify. I mean, I wasn't thinking I was going to go sub-3, which I obviously didn't, because I probably wouldn't be making this video. I'd probably do a couple more marathons for funsies, but yeah, that wasn't really the goal. The goal was just to qualify and run Boston, and that didn't happen. So my Garmin clocked me in at like 3:05:23, but the total amount I ran at Sacramento was like, I think like an extra like quarter mile beyond that, like maybe like 0.24. So technically, I think I ran, according to Sacramento, within the chip time. I ran 26.44 miles. Wait, yeah, and so it was like a 3:06:38. Because, like I said before, you have, like, when you're weaving a lot of people, it's just, that's really something you have to be cognizant about, is how you're running straight. It's pretty rare when you're gonna run a marathon under 26.2. Just from all the like weaving and stuff you're gonna do. So like I don't feel like I weave like a ton, but it wasn't exactly 26.2 within that. But yeah, be smart about where you're running, like how straight and how you're taking those turns and stuff. So because it's over 26.2 miles, you're gonna add up some extra mileage, some extra distance in that marathon. So that's gonna be equated into your chip time. So trying to run smarter, more efficiently, is just, it's gonna just save you so much time without the effort. I mean, you already run 26.2 miles. Like, why would you want to make that any harder than it is? Run that pace. So within the chip times, I think it was a 3:06:38. And then GPS right when I hit 26.2 was 3:05:23. But it was like pretty much right on spot accurate, like to the T. So to the sec was my Garmin once I actually crossed the finish line at like 26:44, it was like 3:06:30 or something like that. So it was like right on point with Sacramento's chip time. So, and I'm sure I'm leaving a ton of stuff out. It was a long year of training. Did some good rides and stuff. Getting that cross training in, you're feeling it for a day. You need to take a day off the feet, recover a little extra. It's gonna be so beneficial. I can't recommend the bikes enough. Oh yeah, purple sugar plum, radioactive purple Trekomonda is not behind me, as you can see. I think you might be able to see the tan wall. It's hanging up. It's been riding a lot more outdoors recently, so probably have to sign on as Zwift for now. I don't really think there's too many more rainy days ahead, and just really looking forward and hopefully gonna be really like happy once I can run the way I want to when my feet heal. So trying to stay positive that I'll be fine, and I'm gonna run 2023 CIM this year. Got the hotel, got everything like dated and booked, so dropped out of Santa Rosa Marathon. It's too small of a training prep. I can't keep doing that. I can't keep doing these small little camps for my marathons for race day. It's just not, it's just too much to try to pack in before running a really crazy marathon like that, trying to PR and stuff. It's just, I need to be able to use, I should, like, my goal is to run definitely no more than 80 miles a week, but probably on average 40 to 60, probably trying to hit like 50 miles a week on average, is going to be the goal. Really consistently for months is probably going to be the way I take on the next marathon, which is a ways away. So like a little over a half a year at this point. So like a little over 6 months. So I got probably another month and a half of, like another month to a month and a half of staying off the feet. Hopefully I'm close, if not 100%. Really want to be 100% so I can take on this marathon and run as fast, quality miles for like long periods of time. And but I'm kind of debating at this point. I'm probably gonna set up a doctor's appointment, at least get a second opinion, what I should do, what it could be the problem is on my feet, like what could exacerbate it, and what could set me up for success for my next marathon. So gotta set yourself up for success. Put yourself in the best position, be smart. You're instructable until you're not. So till then, I'm gonna hit some really big rides, and I think a small goal I have right now, like I said, probably Skaggs Road, and do the biggest marathon, or do my biggest ride. So excluding Everest, my biggest like probably route ride, probably go out and back. But I want to do my biggest ride regardless, even if it's not Skaggs Road. I'm going to do Skaggs Road regardless, even if it's just by itself. So hopefully I have my I think I've kind of got the GoPro figured out by now, so I should probably have some really wicked from Boston, some hella rad life footage coming up soon from some of these rides and runs. So I think I finally figured out this not so seamless GoPro that has been kind of a pain in the arse, pain in my hiney. So that's kind of what I'm banking on for this channel, is to get the GoPro set up and really get some fun footage of the downhill speeds, some of the majestic, like just beautiful areas that I'm seeing, like not just like when I'm going trail running where you hold your phone out and run, but I really want to get some of that, like just where I'm just ripping it, kind of like mountain biking, maybe get some jumps, some downhills, and like and the road bike. I definitely want to get some road racer footage of some of those like top speeds and stuff, and that is like some of the most fun footage. So probably gonna do it on the handlebar, but just there's nothing quite beats hitting like 50 miles an hour on your road bike, on your road racer. So road racer terminology, Yamushi pedal. If you haven't watched it, if you're a cyclist, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? How have you not watched Yamushi pedal yet? Even if you're not a cyclist, Yamushi pedal is legitimately one of the greatest animes of all time. There's a reason it's got movies and a 5th season in Japan for a sports anime. That's pretty crazy. And Run with the Wind as well. If you're a runner, or how have you not seen that by now? Talk about some empowering, motivational training motivation, where they run the Ikeden. So in that, it's kind of like their Boston over there, pretty much in Japan, for a lot of young racers. So just staring at the road bike, it's so pretty at night. It's much more purple, so much more like 80s Donatello purple. So alright, that concludes this episode. Stay tuned. See you next time. So all hail. So hooray for all of us in the pineapple leaf. All power to all of us in the pineapple leaf. The pineapple leaf, not so hidden leaf. Live forever, pineapple leaf. To all my pineapple leaf ninjas, baby guppies, and rad lifers out there, stay strong. Keep being strong. Keep putting in that effort. Each day we will grow stronger. We are strong. Oh, and here's, obviously I didn't have a bib number for my marathon I did myself. San Francisco, there's CIM. So you've probably seen before, Napa and Humboldt. But here's the 45th anniversary medal for San Francisco, in case you were curious. And they gave us like 2 medals because it was the 45th anniversary. It's kind of a weird extra medal. There it is with
CIM.